Marcus Persson was a programmer from Sweden. He loved video games from a very young age. His father brought home a Commodore 128 computer when he was just 7 years old. This was the start of his journey into the world of code. He learned to program by himself, creating his first simple game at the age of 8. This early passion for creating digital experiences would stay with him throughout his life. He spent countless hours learning and experimenting, not because he had to, but because he found immense joy in making things on a screen. His path was not one of formal training but of pure self-driven curiosity and dedication to his craft. Before Minecraft, Marcus, known online as Notch, worked for several game development companies. He contributed to well-known titles and honed his skills as a professional developer. He worked at King, the company later famous for Candy Crush Saga. He also worked at Jalbum. During this time he was also an active participant in the independent game development scene. He created many small experimental games for competitions like the Java 4K game programming contest. These projects allowed him to explore unique game mechanics without the pressure of commercial success. These smaller games were his creative playground, a space where the seeds of his most famous creation were planted and nurtured. Notch was deeply inspired by certain games. He admired the open-ended freedom of Dwarf Fortress. He also loved the creative building aspects of Infiniminar. These games offered players a canvas rather than a strict set of rules. They didn't tell you what to do. They gave you tools and a world and let you find your own purpose. This philosophy of player freedom became a core principle for Notch. He dreamed of making a game that combined the resource gathering and exploration with the building and creativity, all within a 3D world that was easy to understand. His vision was to create a game that felt like a digital version of Lego bricks, a place where imagination was the only limit. He wanted to build a world where players could shape the environment itself, block by block. This idea was simple but incredibly powerful. At the time, most major games were focused on high-fidelity graphics and linear stories. Notch's project was different. It wasn't about telling a story to the player, it was about giving the player the power to create their own stories. In 2009 he decided to leave his day job to focus entirely on this personal project. He called it Cave Game, and it would soon evolve into something the world had never seen before. The initial concept for what would become Minecraft was remarkably simple. It started with a fundamental question. What if a game world was made entirely of blocks? Every tree, every mountain, every drop of water would be a cube. This blocky aesthetic was not just a stylistic choice, it was a core gameplay mechanic. It made the world understandable and modifiable. Players could break a block then place it somewhere else. Destroying and creating was the heart of the game. Notch drew from Infiniminar but wanted to add survival and adventure. Cave Game. A bare, functional prototype. 2 block types only. Grass, cobblestone, no enemies, no crafting, no objectives. Pure creative sandbox. Procedural landscapes, digging into the earth, building simple structures. The core loop was already compelling. Shaping the world felt satisfying. Released on TigSource forums to solicit feedback. The community response was immediate. Players saw huge potential. They offered suggestions, reported bugs, shared creations. That feedback loop was crucial. Notch implemented ideas quickly. New block types. Wood, sand, dirt. Added systems. Mining for resources, crafting tools. The game became collaborative. This built early community ownership. 2 modes emerged. Creative mode, survival mode. Creative, free-form building without limits. Survival, players must gather resources, manage health, defend against dangers. Appealed to many types: architects, artists, explorers, adventurers. From tech demo to multifaceted experience, all built on the simple, elegant foundation of the block. After the initial success of Cave Game, Notch officially renamed his project Minecraft. He continued to release updates at a rapid pace. The game was still in its earliest stages, known as the pre-classic, classic phases. During this time, the core mechanics were solidified. Water was added, creating new environmental challenges and possibilities. Lava was added, changing gameplay and hazards. The world generation became more complex with hills, caves, beaches. It was still primarily a building game, but the world was starting to feel more alive and dynamic. Players could now join multiplayer servers, building together and forming the first online communities dedicated to the game. The big shift came with the release of Survival Test, which laid the groundwork for what would become the game's main mode. This is where hostile creatures, or mobs, were first introduced. Suddenly, the night became a dangerous time. Players had to build shelters to protect themselves from skeletons, zombies, creeper. The creeper, with its silent approach and explosive finale, was born from a coding error. Notch was trying to create a pig, but accidentally swapped the height and length values in the model. The result was a tall, strange creature that he decided to keep. This accident became one of Minecraft's most recognizable symbols. In late 2009, Minecraft entered its InDev, InFdev, infinite development stages. The most significant change during this period was the introduction of a nearly infinite world. Before this, maps had a fixed, limited size. Now, the game would generate new terrain endlessly as the player explored. This was a monumental leap forward, creating a true sense of boundless adventure. The crafting system was also greatly expanded, allowing players to create a wide variety of tools, weapons, other items. A day-night cycle was fully implemented, making survival a constant rhythm of daytime preparation, nighttime defense. It was starting to feel like a complete game. The game officially entered its alpha stage in June 2010. This was a major milestone. Notch began selling the game at a discounted price, promising that those who bought it now would get all future updates for free. The sales were astonishing. Word of mouth was spreading like wildfire across the internet through forums, blogs, YouTube. Despite its simple graphics and lack of a tutorial, players were captivated by the freedom it offered. Notch used the revenue to form a company, Mojang Specifications, so he could hire more people to help him develop the game. The small, personal project was rapidly growing into a global sensation. Minecraft's influence extends far beyond the world of video games. It has become a permanent fixture in popular culture, recognizable to millions who have never played it. The creeper's pixelated face is as iconic as other classic game imagery. Lego sets, clothing lines and hoodies, novels and books, a major motion picture in development. Mainstream recognition that very few games achieve. A brand trusted by parents and loved by children. The game fundamentally changed the video game industry. It proved games don't need massive budgets or cutting-edge graphics to succeed. Open development, the creator communicating directly with players, inspired indie devs. The early access sales model was copied across platforms like Steam. Minecraft's popularity on YouTube helped create the modern influencer and streaming economy. It showed the power of community and user-generated content in marketing and sustaining a game. It changed perceptions of what a game could be. Sandbox was niche before. Minecraft brought it to the masses. It gave players unprecedented freedom to play how they wanted. No single way to win, no final boss. Success was defined by the player. Architect, explorer, farmer, engineer. Championing player agency and creativity over linear, pre-scripted experiences. Even now, more than a decade later, its legacy continues to grow. It inspired a new generation focused on building, crafting, survival. Titles like Fortnite owe a debt for building mechanics. The game has sold hundreds of millions, best-selling game of all time, but its true legacy isn't sales figures, countless hours of creativity, friendships formed, and how games can be a force for learning, connection, and imagination, built on a foundation as simple and enduring as a single block.